Hi, I'm Greg Lesord from Churchville Fire Extinguisher Corporation. Out here in the Extinguisher shop, we do a multi-function role. We test and service all types of cylinders. We recharge breathing air with our breathing air compressor. Back in our powder room, we recharge all the fire extinguishers. Out here is the hydro test facility itself. And we test cylinders because they are high pressure vessels, and if one should rupture, it can be catastrophic to the point of serious injury or death. We test all types of cylinders that contain pressure, be it low pressure fire extinguishers such as this dry chemical, the water-filled extinguisher. We have medical oxygen, SCBA that the firefighters wear, carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. We have scuba tanks for the dive industry. And they're all tested on a regular basis depending on their purpose, anywhere from 3, 5, 7, 10, and 12-year intervals that those tests may occur at. After the cylinder has passed its initial visual inspection and we have found nothing wrong, then we fill it with water, and that's when the hydro test process itself is going to begin. Water is the reason we call it a hydrostatic test. Jacket filled with water. The cylinder itself is filled with water. We'll lower her in, and we're going to seal up the test head. Bleed any residual air out of the system. And seal the head. Then we program in all the pertinent information in the computer for this cylinder, the customer's name, we'll put in the serial number of the cylinder, we put in its size and type, which we have a lot of these pre-programmed because we do so many. This is a 80 cubic foot scuba cylinder. Put in the manufacturer of the cylinder, we put in the year of manufacture, we put in the gas service for the cylinder, which is already in scuba. That's pre-programmed on here. And then the computer will control the whole process of pumping the cylinder up to pressure, holding it for a given duration depending on the type of cylinder, and then it will relieve the pressure and record all the readings, and at the end of the test procedure for the day we'll print out a permanent record to keep on file. This particular scuba cylinder is a 3000 psi service cylinder, and it will be pressurized to 5000 psi for this test, which it will have to hold for a minimum of 30 seconds. And the cylinder is expanding inside the jacket where you can't see it, and as it's expanding, it's displacing water from the inside of the jacket into a weigh bowl. A gram of water equals 1 cc of water, so it's weighing the water and converting that 1:1 to centimeters, and those are the measurements we're using, cc's. The cylinder must expand, and when the pressure is relieved, contract to within 10% of that expansion. If it does not, it has failed test, and what that basically means is the wall has weakened and the cylinder can't contain that given pressure anymore, and it could lead to catastrophic failure. Other things that may happen, such as with an aluminum cylinder, is porosity in the metal that water can find a way to seep through, and also the contents of the cylinder could leak out that way, which would also show up in this test. The aluminum on older cylinders may crack. The initial visual inspection, we may not find any crack in the cylinder. However, once it's charged to the test pressure, it may develop a crack at that point.
This is a 5,000 pound test, and we're at 49.20 at the moment. So it'll go beyond 5,000 psi, or?
Yes, this is because of the type of the cylinder here. We're overshooting a small margin. Your test pressure is a minimum prescribed test pressure. So 5,000 is the bare minimum that it can be held at for the test interval. It can go as high as not to exceed 10% over 5,000 psi. So there's a window in there. Should there be a problem with the test machine, I would be able to retest the cylinder after repairing the machine. The cylinder has passed test. The total expansion of the cylinder under pressure was 74 cc's. When the cylinder pressure was released and it contracted back all but 1 cc, which in a percentage is 1.4%, and we needed to be at 10% or under for the cylinder to pass. So its elastic expansion was 73 cc's. So now the cylinder can go to the dryer and be dried out, and we will visually inspect it again and then velvet stamp it, and it'll be ready to go back in service. Now, before we can test your cylinder, every day the first thing we have to do is verify the accuracy of our test system. To do that, we use a calibrated cylinder. We use a master gauge to check against our working gauge on our machine. We use brass weights to calibrate the load cell, which actually weighs the volume of water that is displaced by your cylinder under test, and those results are recorded on our permanent record sheet along with your results, so that you can be assured that your test was accurate.